Yo, yo, what up, my beautiful dowdies? How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Fal. Let's talk about Changli. Changli is going to be the second phase in 1.1. She's going to be there after Jinxie, and should you pull for Changli, is she worth it to consider? She's going to be there in exactly 1 week from now when I'm recording this video. And Jinxie, I think, is overall a very exciting character, and she can provide a lot of value for your account. She's a very good and interesting character as well, and she can do a lot of good damage. However, Changli is going to be a very interesting character as well, and she's going to be way more interesting in my opinion. Because Changli is going to be the most flexible unit that we have in Wuthering Waves so far. We got to try Changli in that story mode, of course, and we really got to see what she can provide and how she feels and how she functions. That was very nice, so thank you Wuthering Waves for that. But we can clearly see with her stats and what she provides is that she can not only be a main DPS, but also a sub DPS. And that is because she can buff the fusion damage and she can even give you liberation damage. So this is very interesting to see in this character. And I think that's why she's so good as well, because this instantly confirms to me that she's going to be very future proof. Because right now, a lot of people want to pair Changli with Encore, of course, because of that buff. You want to use Encore, then Changli, and then whatever unit you have as a third, like a Farina. And that's a very fun, interesting thing to do. However, I do think that I am going to use Changli as a main DPS because how her kit works in a Forte circuit and stuff. I do think that her on-field damage can be very good and exciting and can 100% make her as a main DPS. But that she has that sub DPS capabilities is actually incredibly interesting. Let's say now we're going to get a new fusion character, that's Changli, but along the way there's going to be a new limited 5-star fusion damage dealer. Most of the times in these gacha games you're like, I already have a fusion damage dealer, you know, I want elemental coverage, maybe I'm missing out on support still or whatever. I just not feeling this fusion damage because I already have one. I have this many times in gacha games, and because Changli can actually be put down to the sub DPS role if you wanted to, I think is a very interesting thing for her kit. If there's going to be a new fusion DPS and you want to pair that DPS with Changli, you're probably going to have a very premium team and you don't really miss out on benching someone or missing out on resources because of that. And there is probably going to be very good fusion DPSs in Wuthering Waves, so it's going to be inevitable that they're going to make another fusion DPS. And when you even think about it, with Changli, you can even make a mono fusion team. There's going to be 100% a fusion support as well. Let's say we're going to get a fusion Verena type, boost all fusion damage again, and then gives more maybe basic attack damage or another liberation damage on top of that, or applies a extra fire hit when you attack, whatever it's going to be. Imagine Changli on top of that support and then with the fusion damage dealer that you picked up. That is an insane fusion premium team. There's going to be so many characters that actually boost fusion damage. And I think Changli is going to be the most important puzzle piece for that. So if you already are speculating like, okay, Changli can be a dual DPS enabler or whatever it's going to be, or I wanted to use as my main DPS, she's going to be super valuable to the end of time because of that. And I think that that's the most interesting character that we have in the roster right now. And I'm also going to pull for Changli because fire is my favorite element. So I'm always looking at fire characters as like, ooh, what does this fire character do? You know, I just like the animations from it the most time. I think it's beautiful to look at. And if there's going to be like a Calcharo fire character, like a cool guy, and then flashy fires everywhere, you know, I'm going to have Changli then as a sub DPS, and then maybe when that fire support comes out, you're just going to have an insane mono team. And I think that's how you should always play gacha games, and you should play Wuthering Waves as well. You should always make decisions while thinking ahead. You should be patient in gacha games. You know what you're going to do, then stick to the plan. Don't fall for these mistakes and don't pull for every single thing just because you wanted to. You know, be careful, save your pulls, be smart and be wise. And Changli is going to be a very wise pickup because of how her kit functions and how her design is, you know, how her abilities and everything work. And because we do need multiple teams for the late game content, it is never a miss if you pick such a flexible character. And people that do have Encore right now, or even have Mortify, you know, you can already make a very insane comp And if you're very skilled at the game, then you can already even do Encore, Changli, and Mortify. Then you already have kind of that mono team. And if you just juke and you're good at the game, you're going to have a lot of consistent damage. It can have a very cool playstyle. And I think Changli just opens a lot of doors what other characters might not do. Look at what Yinlin provides already. Yinlin is also a very interesting character because she's that sub DPS role, and she has those capabilities to bring other characters up. I think supportive units or characters that can have those supportive traits are the most valuable units in gacha games or in these team building games. They bring other characters up so fast and their value is going to be there for a very long time. Jinxie is a character that is way easier power crept because of how her kit works, or how her main DPS capabilities work. Same with Jian. Jian is the first limited character that we got. Jian is going to get way easier power creeped because of how he works. Changli is actually way more interesting and way safer because of that. And I think the safest unit, or the most flexible, the most strongest one, is also technically what you want to pull for. Now, don't get me wrong, in Wuthering Waves, power creep is a very interesting concept as a whole, because Jian, how he works, is very hard to power creep as a whole, because if he ults, the dragon spins around him and he can actually parry the enemies very efficiently, and he's actually very comfortable to use. And Jinxie already right now is struggling with that in a way, you know, not as necessarily as a character. She's a very good DPS and she might even do more DPS, but Jian's parry potential is so smooth that Jinxie's maybe even a little bit harder or clunkier to use because of that, you know, because Jian actually has a step ahead of her with that. And I really love to see how these characters are being put out there because of their value is not only their numbers and their element, but just how their whole combat works. And I love that about Wuthering Waves, that the combat is such an interesting thing to see how it's being implemented, that it actually matters a lot. Hey, pause the video right now. Over 90% of you people that watch my videos actually are not subscribed to my channel. It would mean a lot to me if you would actually consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind after. Let's continue with the video. Technically speaking, you don't need a healer in your team if you're that good, right? If you're really that good and you just don't take any damage, why would you need a healer? You just put another character, another sub DPS for more consistent damage even. But that's why Verena, for instance, is so good, because she not only keeps your team alive, but also gives that damage boost, right? So there's a lot of ways for success in this game, and Changli is going to give you even more ways to success. And I think that's why you should always consider her as a character, or why you should consider these sub DPSs or these supportive abilities as a whole, you know, why you should consider them. Yinlin now is going to be a very future-proof character as well. Calcharo is probably not going to be. Calcharo did get nerfed a lot as well. I love Calcharo and I use Calcharo and Yinlin combo. But Yinlin is going to probably be matched up with a new electric DPS. If there's going to be a very new electric DPS, Yinlin is 100% going to be the best in slot for that character. And this is going to be the same thing with Changli. Changli can be main DPS, even though that Yinlin can also in a way be a main DPS. Changli has way more main DPS capabilities because how she works. She can do both. And that's why Changli is so interesting, because I am actually very excited for a very premium mono team, and that's why I'm picking up Changli. I'm thinking ahead. There's probably going to be a lot of different characters along the way, and Changli is going to be a must then for that team. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to miss on that character, because I'm going to be very sad if I miss out on such a big puzzle piece. And that's how we have to view these characters, right? We have to see them as puzzle pieces, and we have to see them as fun. That's another thing I want to say, is if Changli is not fun, and you don't find this playstyle good at all, then don't, right? Do go for the characters that you want and that you enjoy in this game. If Changli doesn't give you fun, you know, in the playstyle, or you don't care about her design, and you think she's boring or whatever, you can skip her and you'll find other success and other fun with different characters. Always go for fun above everything else, especially in Wuthering Waves, because Wuthering Waves is such a freeing game, right? You have a map to explore, you can do a lot of combat. It is very important that you have characters that can bring out joy. So do keep that in the back of your mind. On this channel, I always say that fun above everything else. Don't make mistakes just because someone told you to pull for a certain character. If it's not fun, then don't do it. Meta speaking, numbers speaking, Changli is 100% going to be an extremely valuable unit for now and to the end of time. It is going to be very hard to power creep her, or just how she works. And I do have to say, for another reason why I think Changli is like a little bit above everyone else right now, is because we are having a free weapon of choice. On level 45, we are getting a free standard 5-star weapon. And we all know that the 5-star weapons are very different from one another. And some of them give crit rate, some of them give attack percentage. And the sword is actually one of the better ones because the sword does give that crit rate. Increased energy regen by 12.8% when resonant skill is cast. Increased attack by 6%, stacking up to 2 times. This effect lasts for 10 seconds. This whole weapon as a whole, on top of being main DPS friendly and sub DPS friendly, gives that crit rate. And this is a subset that is very rare in Wuthering Waves. I think, me personally, crit rate is way more valuable than crit damage because crit damage is easier to get. The crit damage is way higher from the base stats already. If you want a good ratio, you want more crit rate so you can actually utilize the crit damage. And having a free weapon that gives that crit rate to help balance out your echo stats is going to be a tremendous win. I am, of course, going to try to summon for the weapon banner for Changli because I have 21 pulls, and that's another beauty about this game. It's going to be inevitable for you not to get weapon pulls because of how the game functions, because they're different from the limited character pulls. So one day you're going to get that 5-star weapon, so just build your pity. Every time you're going to go for a character, try for the weapon banner. You know, maybe you get lucky because there's a 100% chance to get that weapon. However, if you do miss out, you can get this sword and then put that sword on Changli, and then very fast you have a very good Changli build because you do have that crit rate. And I saved my box for this as well. I have that supply box where you can choose one standard 5-star weapon because I wanted to get the Kalcharo one. However, after doing some math and stuff, the crit rate probably is going to be way more valuable on the Changli, and it gives energy regen, and this whole weapon synergizes just super well with how Changli functions. So this is also some tip that you could do. If you are going for Changli and you do have that supply box, or you're not level 45 yet, you could actually pick up this weapon, and this weapon is way better than the rest. Because this is very good for Kalcharo, of course. It's the best one we have right now, but it gives attack percentage. Then the guns give crit rate, the gauntlets give attack percentage, and then this one gives attack percentage. So having that crit rate sword is actually a super valuable thing to have. And now, to the end of time, for new sword characters, that is going to be a very good weapon to have as well. So you can just swap that weapon off to another character to give more crit rate. And that's why I think Changli is just one of the, if not the most flexible unit that we have in the game right now. And I'm super excited to see how this is going to unravel in the long run. Of course, Wuthering Waves just came out. Kuro Games is doing a wonderful thing with Wuthering Waves. They are releasing a lot of good content. They're updating the game. The game is becoming better and better, and it's just looking very good for Wuthering Waves and the future of Wuthering Waves. So if you're planning to play this game for a very long time, I would highly consider Changli because of what she provides and of how her playstyle is and how her flexibility is. You know, what she provides for your account. Very, very high valuable character for your account. Now, we don't know what 4 stars are going to be on the banner yet, but there's not that many choice. There is probably going to be some pretty decent choice there as well. And let's say Mortify is going to be on that banner. That's a huge W then, right? Because you can do something very cool things with that. If you get a lot of copies from Mortify and then a Changli on top, hey, you already have a premium team there. So if that's the case, I really hope so. That'd be very cool. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Changli. If you're going to pull for Changli, if you pulled for Jinxie, if you're going to pull for both, why you are going to pull for Changli, what do you think about her character as a whole, if you think she's boring, if she thinks she's very cool, what team builds you're going to do with her. I would love to hear you guys' stories and takes and any possible thing about the character. Hey, hopefully this video helped you out and maybe got you a better sight on what to do in the game as character pulling as a whole, and maybe this helped you make a final decision on Changli. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, means the world to me if you could do that. Make sure to join the Discord. We're trying to grow the community even further, and if you want to support the channel even further, then become a member. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.